Good evening. Welcome again to a fireside chat here with the Hillbilly. And I am out here wanting to talk to you about the Horizon Act. I know last year this was supposed to have provided $300 million in funding for folks who need childcare help. Those parents who want to go back to work, but it costs more to put their kids in childcare than it does to actually get paid their paycheck. I've heard of parents saying, hey, by the time I pay for childcare, I would make $100 after childcare deductions. So it really didn't make sense for them to go to work. Now, for all of our talk about love and work and families, this doesn't sound right to me. I recall when I was a youngin' in Eastern Kentucky with my beloved Mama and Papa. My mom was a single mom. She was working as a social worker at this time. And I was sent to one of the most wonderful child care facilities imaginable. It was out in one of the hollers, big holler, but this place had real education for me. This was preschool, but it was really school. I was learning my ABCs, learning things about how to just take care of myself independently, even before kindergarten. And I really remember thinking later on that that is probably why I quickly learned to read once we moved to Texas. And Texas taught me phonics. Then I learned what those ABCs really meant. And I was off reading, guys, literally day one when they taught me phonics. But it was due to that preschool I got in Kentucky and Texas using the phonics method to teach to read back then in Austin. But that's another story. Childcare costs is really what I'm talking about tonight. If it wasn't for my papa being able to pay for me to have this wonderful childcare experience, I wouldn't have gotten it. And most all of my neighbors didn't, unless they had parents who were doctors, lawyers, dentists, and such. I thought that this was the case. And then I realized, looking back, there must have been some other funding there too, because I remember a dental van coming out there to help out kids to get their dental exams and dental treatments. Now, this is something that was innovative for the 1970s with kids that were really lacking in a lot of dental care otherwise. So I believe there must have been some funding there, and then some of my cohorts, other kids in the preschool, must have also been receiving some funding somewhere to help their parents afford this preschool. Now, later, my brother would go there and he learned even more than I did. Actually, he learned to drop kick a football. I remember going in the backyard when I came home from kindergarten, first grade, and he was drop kicking a ball to my mom. And he asked me if I wanted to play. I was stunned. Here I was, 2 years older than him. He was in preschool and he knew how to drop kick a football. I'm like, where'd you learn that? He goes, in preschool. Didn't you learn it when you were there? Now, I wasn't cursing back then, but I do remember thinking to myself, my goodness, no, they taught me how to read and write. They didn't teach me fun sports stuff. Well, he was always better at his hands than I was in doing anything in sports. I was end up being the reader. I'll call myself intellectual, but that would be a disservice to intellectuals. But he could do anything when it came to sports, when it came to, oh man, making stuff. He ended up being a good reader after some struggle, but I think that preschool helped him out too. Now, just want to say this because I've noticed that Horizons Act didn't seem to go anywhere last year. I know there's a new proposal out there to try to help working families because folks just don't want to go enter the workforce in their early 20s when they've got a kid and they know, hey, it's going to cost so much for mom to go to work that if she only is bringing in $100 net after paying for childcare, it's not worth it. Might as well let mom stay at home with the kids. But this is a day and age when we really need two income families. So, what do you guys think? Should Kentucky go on ahead with its proposal to give some funding to help parents defray these costs of childcare? And should it include, like mine did, real good preschool education? I think so. I hope so. All right. Remember, I'm running for magistrate, Hardin County, District 3. Let me know what you think.